I will be very honest. When I started putting this presentation together, I realized that we're probably not going to cover everything, and that we've grown quite a bit since the last time that I did this. And I am making it a resolution that I will keep doing this, but also updating it more frequently because it's just so important, I think. So, welcome. I think I know all of your faces, but just for the fact that we're going to be live and we're always recording too. I'm Diane Sawyer, and I'm the president here at the Chamber, the Reidsville Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center. And in the room we have Denise Brady, our membership director, and Stephanie Wright, our Visitor Center associate. So I want this to be about you. I want you to please ask questions. I want you to make of it what you want. My goal for these has always been, we have folks who are brand new members, people who've been members for, a year or less, people who've been here for 3 or 4 years, or who've been here as long as they can remember, and the Chamber's over 100 years old at this point. So we have some businesses who, if they're family businesses, they've been members as long as this generation has been in charge. But we also have large corporations, people in new positions and that sort of thing. So we just want to be sure that people are getting the best benefit. But one of those things, I believe, is for you to know your chamber, know who we are, who the people are, who the board members, who the staff members are, because we're the biggest part of your resource. We have human resource is I think, to me, one of our largest assets, and our partnerships and what we bring to the table. So I just want to be sure that we're telling our message, our story, because I think that we've learned over the last, 6 months to a year going on now, as we talk to folks, they're not really sure what the Chamber does, and all they see are the hype around the events, and we're so much more than that. So just wanted to start kind of going through the motions of getting our story out there. So that was the goal with the point today, but we're also going to go through and do some of the Chamber Master, the training, and looking at that and seeing. So bear with me, as I do not have my computer right now. One of our board members and fabulous members, Chris Reed with Reed's Computers, has none, because even after our little topics at 12 about viruses, somehow I still managed to have 19 on my system when he scanned it last week. So, and I do everything he tells me to, and I have it, but sometimes you just can't help the stuff that happens. And once we got that one, we've had a lot of trouble. So, I will say, just bear with me through the technical stuff. I think we're good. I mean, I've got the PowerPoint, but I have some other things that I want to show you. And does everybody have the handouts, both the PowerPoint slides and the other? Did everybody get one? So we need to pass this one down. If you'll just take a few of those and pass them, please. All right. Oh, you need what? Oh, okay. Thank you. I was gonna say, I don't know. Did y'all get those? Nobody?
Thank you.
That's weird. Did I pick them back up? I don't know what I'm doing. All right. Awesome. So I hope it's okay with y'all. I mean, I'm going to stand mostly. We already did welcome. So one of the things that we always talk about the Chamber is like, okay, I'm a member. Now what? Like, now what happens? What do we do? And Denise is really great about, and sometimes she chases you because the trying to meet up and trying to get you through all that. But sometimes we've discovered it's not always the right person that's meeting with Denise. But you're getting that login and learning how to go through and I'll be honest, Chamber Master just did a complete 180 again, and they have changed everything. So that's a constant change for us. And Chamber Master is our database that feeds our website. And so the goal, it's, even though Denise has taught people forget, and let's be honest, we have a lot on our plates. We have a lot going on. It's a lot to take in, all the benefits and all the things that you can do. So like I said, make this about you and what benefits you. So your chamber member, now what? So I want you all to tell us who you are and why you're here. So we'll start with you, Jesse. We'll go down this side.
I'm Jesse Metter. I'm the marketing manager at Ethan. I'm here because I am a board member, and this is after my first full year, just about a year being on the board, and I want to learn more, so I want to be able to utilize what we've got here and trying to learn as much as I can.
And being newer to your position too, so obviously that makes a big difference. And Annie Penn's a great example of one of our kind of our huge chamber champs, but somebody who all along has tried to lead the way with putting in their logo and putting in their information and putting in their events and really using the system. Sharon Troxler used to do that. I know when I came, she was really big into making sure all Annie Penn stuff was in there so that they were using it to the best of their ability. And we've just got to get back to that. People knowing how to log in, how to put their stuff in. And there's some really great interface. So, good. I'm glad that you're here.
My name is Taylor Lake. I'm the Foundation and Community Care Coordinator at Annie Penn, and Jessie invited me because I'm newer in my position at Annie Penn, and she just wants me to see more basic stuff about the chamber.
My name is Sandra Moore, and I am HR at Belk here in Reidsville. And I just want to be able to learn all I can so that I can utilize this for when we have job openings or we have special events at our store, and let the community know more about what's going on in our store.
Yes, ma'am. And we get a lot of, we use the charity event, so we get that, and I know we promote that, but you guys have so many other things that we definitely could be promoting and that you could be using to your benefit.
Right.
I'd love to see, even if this group walked away and everybody started putting their jobs, I know that once we have a few who use it, but once we get more, we'll be able to more readily send people there and it'll be more successful. So we just got to get people to start using it so that it grows.
I'm Sharon Benfield. I'm with Homestead Bank. I'm an ambassador with the chamber. I'm just here just to learn more about what the chamber does. So, you know, when people say, hey, what does the chamber do? You know, I can answer the question more effectively.
It's okay, I still have trouble answering that question. It's a lot. It's a mouthful. I mean, it really is. Miss Denise.
Yes. Well, I'm here because I like promoting the chamber. It's part of my job, and one of the things I like to do when people join is to show them how to log in and use that. But sometimes, like Diane says, there's so much to talk about. I'm trying to find out what you need from me as a member and from the chamber, and then I want to kind of share with you what we can do for you, and then we talk about logging in and all that, and I think it just becomes a lot. So just wanted to be here, and if there are any questions you all have for me, please ask. So look forward to it.
I'm Debbie Ellis, and I work for Vocational Rehab. In our agency, we're a state employment program, and we are members of all three chambers. So the networking piece, meeting the businesses, I've been an ambassador forever. I mean, I don't even know how long it's been. And I've been on the board with the Eden Chamber, and now I'm currently on the board at the Western Rock Chamber. But I've met so many people, and it has been a great benefit for not just me, but for our agency as far as job, because I do job placement. So it's been a big benefit for us.
I am Katrina Harrison, and I am the founder and president of the Last On, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. I'm here to learn how we can become more visible and network a lot more in reaching out to the businesses and inviting them out to our events where they can, promote themselves, but also have an opportunity to partner with a nonprofit organization to get your information and your services out to the community.
My name is Tracy Crowder. I'm an agent with Powell Barefoot Agency. We're just trying to learn as much as we can about the chamber, and I don't think we've ever logged in.
We're going to learn how to do it today.
That'll help us. That'd be great.
And Powell Barefoot is celebrating a very large anniversary this year. And one of the things that they're doing to be more visible and to be more involved is they're going to be hosting later this month Chamber University 201, where we're going to go into specifics about benefits regarding insurance discounts and other things that we partner with them on. So we're pretty excited about that. And what? Oh yeah, and they are our showcase sponsor this year. We're really excited about that. So all right, so that was kind of where I wanted to start to get a feel for it, who was in the room and why you're here. So out of curiosity for discussion, and Denise, you do not get to answer this, and Debbie, you probably should just give everybody else a chance too, but how would you define a Chamber of Commerce and its role in the community? I want to hear what y'all think.
It's a community building entity to help support economic growth.
Ooh, I like that one. Okay. I'm gonna write these down. So, Steph, do you think one of these is, you know what I can do? I'll do it right here. Alright, so, say that again, Jesse.
It's a community,
Community
building entity to support economic growth.
Okay. Anybody else?
I think mine would probably be tied into what she said, but it's been an awesome opportunity for me to network.
Okay. Okay, Denise and Debbie, if y'all have something to say, I'll let you back in the game.
I'm being quiet.
Define Chamber of Commerce and role in the community. This is why we're all here today, right? Because we're trying to figure out the answer to that question.
You're a big advocate for businesses.
Okay. An advocate for businesses. What does advocate mean? What is an advocate? What does that mean?
Putting that liaison, sort of bridging the gap.
Ooh,
You're bridging
I
the
like
gap.
Referral source.
here we go.
That's what I use a lot for. Girls, when I need something from
Like, look at
the store.
What's the 411, hon? That's us. We are the information highway for sure for the community. All right. So it sounds like you guys have some good ideas, definitely, about what the chamber and our role is. So, definition of a chamber, by definition, by Merriam-Webster definition, for those of you that know what's funny about that for me. A voluntary organization of the business community which unites the efforts of business and professional individuals to improve the economy, build a better community, and enable business people to accomplish collectively what no one person or organization can do individually. Power in numbers. So what I like to say when I'm saying this, we want to make Reidsville and the larger Rockingham County and greater Reidsville area a better place to live, work, play, and do business in. I mean, simply. We just want our folks to be able to continue to do business. And I use the example a lot of times. Our funeral homes are a really great example of a chamber member who they do not get member referrals from us. I mean, people don't call us and say, my mother passed away and I'm not sure where to, who to talk to. That's not how funeral homes work. We all know, I mean, most of the time there are 4 funeral homes here. You already know who your family, I mean, if something happens, you know immediately where they're going to be because it's just a thing. That's something for a long time, from generation to generation passed down. We already know that. However, what funeral homes do get from chambers is this, that we're building a better place to live, work, play, and do business. Because at the end of the day, if they don't have bodies to take care of, if they don't have families to take care of, then they wouldn't have a business. So they want a thriving economic region. They want people to move here. They want people to stay here and eat here and play here so that the economy's a great place so that their business continues to do well. Plus, I mean, who doesn't want a great place for their families and for their employees? So, but I always love using that example because people say, well, what does a chamber do for me? And the way they see it is we're helping to support the chamber to do all of these things in the economy. So, what we are not, I love to talk about what we are, but a lot of times there's a lot of misconceptions. So what we are not a department of the city, the county, or the state. We are our own 501c6 with a tax ID number and a board of directors. We don't answer to anybody else. We have lots of partners and we have lots of investors. You all are investors, and we answer to our membership and to our board of directors who govern the membership. But we do not have to, we are not a part of. A lot of people think, oh, you guys have great benefits benefits and great jobs because you're city employed. We are not. We are our own organization. We are not a political body, civic club, or professional society. A lot of people think that, oh, well, if I'm a part of the chamber, it's like something else to put on my resume, and that's not how this works either. And so we are also not a service or charitable institution. A lot of people think, oh, well, you're a 501c3. We're not. We're a 501c6, which is the government's designation for chambers of commerce. Now, there are a lot of chambers who have 501c3 foundations did I say it, 501c3 foundations? Sure. Sorry, y'all, it's been a long week. But so they do that for economic development, for education, for workforce. There's a lot of ways, and we have played with that idea some, but I don't think the board is still settled on where we want to be, and we're working to grow our partnership so that we can kind of figure that out. And we are not an agency of the state or U.S. Chamber of Commerce. People say, oh, well, if I give my money to the Reidsville Chamber, it's just going straight up to the state or the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Not true. They are also membership organizations, and we can choose to be a member or not be a member of those organizations. And if we do pay membership fees. But again, just like this organization, there's a ton of benefit to that for us. We can have access to training, and I graduated from the 4-year Chamber Institute program in Georgia by being a member of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. So there's a lot of benefit to that, but in no way, shape, or form does part of your dues just go straight to the state or U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and that's something that a lot of people have misconceptions about. Why do businesses join or invest with us? Well, these are all the opportunities here. So to expand their networking opportunities, to be a part of programs and events, credibility or community exposure. I don't know if y'all are familiar with the Shapiro study, but that's something that came out in 2012, and I actually have a copy of it here. And they're out of Georgia, and they did this study on the real value of joining a local chamber of commerce, and it's a really good read. It talks about our impact and the causes, and it is just it's an interesting thing. But a lot of people feel like when their business, that's why those membership plaques and tags are so important, because people feel like if a business is a member of the chamber, then people know who they are, right? Like they're accountable to us because our board of directors, the board of directors, the ambassadors, like we all know that business, and so we can speak to, their work in the community. Benefits and promotional opportunities, community support, business advocacy, recognition and corporate identity. That is important. Some people just want to be recognized for what they do. A lot of our industries, they like going to partner with us on things like, for example, the thing we just did, the tornado relief efforts that we did for Ruffin. Alba donated 4 pallets of wipes. They want to be connected to the chamber, A, because they want people in the community to know that they're giving back. But B, they use us as a, hey, we're not sure who to partner with. We're not sure. So we can say to them, hey, you're wanting to fill backpacks like the Last Dons. Like that's who you need to work with to be visible and to do that. So industries use us a lot to be able to have that corporate identity, but in the community through the chamber. And Belk is another great example, the Charity Day sale. That's something that Belk does as, corporate. But a lot of people don't understand it, don't know what it is, and I can't tell you how many times I have explained it to people, and I feel like they either use that as, as something for their organization, or we've used it, we've sold the ticket. So increase awareness and raise visibility. That goes back to our nonprofits as well, or people who are part of something that, a business that is around an awareness or an issue. Cost-effective business savings. There are things that we offer that through the chamber you can get discounts on, like I was mentioning. The first benefits, that's a workers' comp program that if you're a member of the chamber, you get a discount on. And input on community issues and future development. This one to me is very important. There's a great example right now. The food trucks has become an issue because of our ordinances are outdated with the city. And Mama Crockett's, everybody knows who Mama Crockett's Donuts is. And so they have been traveling. Well, they've caused quite a stir in Rockingham County because some of our areas fall under the county ordinances, and then Eden has their own, Reidsville has their own, and at the end of the day, it falls under outside sales. So the city said to us, well, we're willing to discuss it, but we want to hear from your chamber members. We want the chamber board to recommend something to us. And so the city really values the member businesses, their input on community issues and future development, because they're looking at it long term. They don't, they're not just gonna, oh, well, Mama Crockett's is a big deal and they want to come, so let's change our ordinance. That's the whole purpose of the city government, is to take their time and to look at things and figure it out. So they said to us, okay, so we're talking about, as we continue to try to renovate and help downtown, and does this make sense for Reidsville? And so to me, this is one of the big ones, because they come to us and say, hey, we want your input. Each chamber is unique. There's a saying amongst chamber people, if you've seen one chamber, you've seen one chamber. And that goes back to what I was saying. We're our own individual organization. We have our own set of rules, our own set of bylaws and policies and procedures, and every chamber is very different, and it adapts to the community it serves. And so that's a great example. Western Chamber is very different. They're serving 3 small towns, and it's very hard for them. It's unique in the how spread out and how rural. Whereas here we're situated right in downtown. We've got this great setup, and we're just serving Reidsville. We don't have to play that political, oh, well, if we do this, one might get upset, or we need to be fair to everybody. And so it's very different depending on where you go. You won't find chambers identical to each other. I'm excited about our mission statement, y'all. It's written up here too, because this is our new mission statement that we just did in our strategic plan. And so, to be champions for community development by providing strong partnerships and an empowering voice for business in our growing economic region. That's powerful. That's exciting. And that's who we are. We've come a long way over the last 10 years. And I just think that as we move forward, we're going to continue to look back at this and be sure, because at the end of the day, the chamber cannot do everything, and I learned a really hard lesson with that this past year. I really do try to help everybody that comes through the door, and sometimes I just take too much on my plate. And sometimes when it comes back to it, if it doesn't fit our mission statement, we shouldn't be doing it. We're happy to help other people, but sometimes we can't do everything. And so we're really going to use this as our guiding light, as our new mission and who we are moving forward. Pretty excited about this. We have 395 members currently. When I came, we had a little over 300, so we've grown a lot in the last, it'll be 7 years in July that I came. So we're thankful to have, and this was just a quick snapshot of today, and you'll see how it's got the categories, but your numbers don't always add up. And that's because that's one of those things where sometimes that slips by us. A lot of times people will come in here, they sign up, and they're like, well, I'm not real sure what my category is. And we really try to pin them down and say you have to be in a category. But sometimes, if people are like, I'm not sure, am I a cake baker, I'm a bakery, and that's not a great example. I'm sure Denise would have a better one. But so a lot of times that slips by us. That's something important, because category is how people find you on the internet. And I'll be on our website and on the internet too. I'll be honest, I'm actually toying with the idea of condensing it down to a select few categories, because I've looked at some other chambers and I think that just makes a lot more sense. We've added category to appease people in their businesses. And, well, I'm a bank. Well, I'm a financial institution, and it just, it's like, apples are, yeah. So, we are considering that. Obviously there would be large ones, the ones who we have a lot of, but it's something that I think would benefit you all, and it would be easier for us to help track and put you kind of where you belong. This is a question that I get asked a lot, and I thought that it would be interesting to kind of break it down. So, and I actually did not change that. It's actually membership total, investments and about 4% of that is new membership. But so our membership dues are 38.5%. Our sponsorship, programming, and events are 32%. Our visitor center contract that we have to operate the visitor center is 21%, and our rent and residual benefits on kickbacks from some of the affinity programs is about 8.5%. And that sponsorship program and events, the biggest chunk of that is Chamber Champs. And that program has grown tremendously. We actually broke $100,000 this year between trades and cash on that program. So pretty excited about that, very thankful to have everybody that supports us, and that encompasses a lot of our events, so it's kind of changed for us, because we used to have a lot of events, and then that program, you know, if you're familiar, if you're a chamber champ, you get so many seats or so many, and so that's a big part of that. We do not get grant funding currently. We don't have, we don't get, you know, any, I mean, a big part of it you see is membership, so you see why it's important when we call and say, hey, I don't know if somebody missed an invoice, but it's important to us because we are our own organization and we don't have anybody that we can fall back on. So, your chamber investment, it is voluntary, obviously. Like nobody's forcing you to be a member of the chamber. It is a membership organization, and the dues are based upon your type of business and the number of employees. We go over this a lot. People don't understand, and so. I don't know that it will change anytime soon. There are a lot of chambers that have gone to different ways of doing dues, but for us it seems to continue to work. You know, we have a nonprofit rate, we have an individual rate, then we have what we call the fair share, which is the number of employees. And the way that was designed many moons ago for chambers was that if you were a small business, you paid the base rate, and then as you add employees, and fair share meaning you're paying your fair share back into the chamber for us to continue to help all businesses grow. And I mean, it's an equation. I mean, that's it. There is no real other way to explain it. The investment is renewable annually. So a lot of people say, oh, I didn't rejoin, or I'm not. You have an annual join date, and it falls in a month. And so if you are a March renewal, you'll get a bill February 1st for March. So once it's paid, you're good for a whole year. And so it is renewable annually. A lot of people ask about the deductions. Your investment in the chamber, and then this depends too on if you have anything additional, like if you are a chamber champ and you sponsor something. It may be tax deductible as a business expense, but not as a charitable donation. A lot of people think they can write the chamber a check, but we are not a 501c3. So you cannot just, it has to be as a business expense. And membership is a business expense, and advertising is a business expense. So but definitely if you have questions, talk, and we have some really awesome ones in the chamber, talk to your tax folks. Governance, so we were talking about how we are organized. We have a 19-member board, and that's elected by the membership. That happens in September or October usually. And 6 of the members are officers, and we meet monthly. The 6-person executive committee meets monthly. We have 22 active ambassadors and 3 full-time staff, and that's kind of how we are organized. And so we are heavily volunteer-based, and we are very thankful for all of our people that do that. So there's your chamber staff. Most of you know them all, but currently, Kayla is our office manager, and I'm sorry she could not be with us today. She has a sick child. So, and then Denise, who's here, and Stephanie, who's here. And these ladies rock. They get a lot of stuff done. And I was blown away actually as I was going through and thinking, did I miss this? And the slide for programs and events kept getting longer and longer, and I thought, gosh, we do so much stuff, and we didn't always have that. So I'm thankful to be able to pull that off. Let me back up. This is a huge part of your resource. When you talk about what do I get from the chamber, how do I benefit with the chamber, this is it. You call us, you meet with us, you ask us questions. And I don't mean like drop by and, hey, let me ask you about this. I mean call, ask Stephanie to put something on my calendar, or ask, text Denise or email Denise and say, hey, I need to meet with you, or let Kayla know that there's something going on, and we will be happy to sit down and help you. I think we have something scheduled for tomorrow. So, big part of your resource. Networking and volunteer ops. And I'm going to be honest, probably it's an average across the industry for chambers that about 20% of your membership are going to show up to events. 20% of your membership are interested in networking. I get it. It's not everybody's thing. Some people don't care about networking with other people. However, if you do, we have a lot of those opportunities. We also have a lot of opportunities for volunteers. So something like the Last Dawns of Trina said to her folks, like, hey guys, we need more visibility. So here's some opportunities. Come out and volunteer. Come volunteer at the golf tournament. Come volunteer at the business showcase. So we have Chamber Coffee, which is every month at 8 a.m. on the first Thursday, except for July. It is this Thursday, actually, at Wilkerson Funeral Home. And I think a lot of times people forget because it's the first Thursday, and sometimes it falls literally on the first, and you're like, holy crap. Like today, I was like, oh my God, Elvis at 12 is on the first. That's Tuesday. Like I'm going May, and then suddenly it's May. So it does creep up on you, but those are so fascinating to me. Because even doing what I do to hear from the members, this is going on, this is going on, this is going on. First of all, I'll be the first to say, I'm in my 30s, and I'm going to date myself. But class of 99 Moorhead, and I have been here my whole life. I commuted to UNC Greensboro. I have been here my whole life. I am so frustrated when I hear there's nothing to do here, because that is not the truth by any means or any stretch of the imagination. There is always something going on. Ask your campaign candidates, because they have real full calendars. They have found ways to be at something every day. But seriously, even if it is for a nonprofit, who cares? It's fun usually, right? It's dancing and dinner and drinks if that's your thing, or whatever. I mean, there's always something fun to do. And we have a ton of recreational activities. Yes, we are outdoorsy. And in good news, City of Reidsville has lots of plans for their Parks and Rec this year. And we just cut the ribbon on the trails for Reidsville, and that's all connected. And the Murray property was donated, and they're looking to develop that. And it's insane what I think is going to happen. You're going to look back and go, wow, that's a big change. So, the annual awards meeting, the business showcase and Taste of Reidsville. Thank you for being our sponsor. I'm so excited about it. So lots of opportunities, and I'm sure there are more that I'm not even thinking about right now. Our signature events and programs, there's 2 of these slides, and this is the one that I was working on, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much. Chamber Coffees, the MLK Unity Breakfast, that is another fabulous event. I like that event because it's our scholarship event. So that's the event where we raise money and we give it to 2 Reidsville High School students to go to RCC. And I'm sorry that I'm moving around on y'all over there. But the other great thing about it is we partner. So we have the Reidsville branch of the NAACP, and we have the Reidsville City Human Relations Commission. We usually try to get the youth involved. And it's a community event. And what's cool about that is it happens on a holiday. And you don't really see many people come out on a holiday, but that's a fun and networking time, because a lot of your elected officials that work in the courthouse or work in areas that can't come out for other events, when everything shuts down that day, they come out. And it's just that day is fun in general, because there's so many cool events that happen just around the city. Other things that we haven't talked about, staff appreciation. How many of y'all came to staff appreciation this year? Had y'all ever been before? I was going to say y'all came last year. Yeah, because of the Chamber Change program, that's right. So staff appreciation is so much fun. Several years ago, we said that it used to be the Secretary's Luncheon, and then, of course, that's not, I guess, PC anymore, and now it's Administrative Professionals Day. And we started crisscrossing our staff appreciation with our annual awards luncheon. We were like, well, if you can't remember which event you're talking about, then that's a problem, because it means we're duplicating an event, and what's the purpose? Plus it just kind of got boring. Who wants to come and sit down for an hour? And that's not fun. So we changed into a celebration. We have vendors. You can shop. You can come and have all kinds of spa services, get a massage, get your posture checked out. And it's just, and eat. And the food turned out phenomenal this year. So we were really excited about that. We had kind of a street food festival. And so we are fortunate to have a board that allows us to, when I come up with these crazy ideas, or the staff comes up with crazy ideas, and then I get on board, and then they're like, okay, whatever you say, if you think this event's going to go like that, then, and they jump right in. Roy and Chris are my technical gurus, and when I say, I want to see this, but I don't know how I want to get there, and they're like, uh-huh. And then the next thing I know, like, I'm getting 2 a.m. messages from Roy, and he's like, I thought about, we can do it this way, and I'm like, that's phenomenal. So again, those human resources, because I'm able to use them and figure out stuff for people. The student art show, the golf for Reidsville, the ice cream social. We're actually hoping this year's ice cream social, we want to turn it into a meet and greet. We're going to try to get all of our board members and all of our ambassadors and hopefully our elected officials in the city to come so that you can meet with them and be introduced to them. And if you have things you want to talk to them about, that would be a great time just to find out who they are. The Reidsville Night of the Grasshoppers, which, by the way, the tickets are on sale for those. We just found out our t-shirt deadline is next Friday, so it's another one of those things where we went, oh, it's May, okay, and we've got a month for the hoppers, and we're like, no, you've got 2 weeks for t-shirts. So we were in a scramble yesterday. We uploaded our Facebook event so that everybody would know about it, and who knew it was going to take off like crazy. So apparently our 500 number from the last year is probably going to get a little bit bigger this year, so we're pretty excited about that. But, you know, I say that we scramble. Yes, ma'am. I'm getting there. Hold on just a second. So I say that we scramble for that, but we are thankful that we have so many folks who are involved. And this year, I think we'll shoot for more than 500, but we're going to have the same sponsors from last year. WLC Forklift is our naming sponsor, and the other great thing is Screen Print Plus is really doing a heck of a deal for us on the t-shirts, and so we're thankful for them, which is why we're doing them a little bit earlier, because they're being printed locally. So it will take them a little bit of time to get that done. And the other event on here, School Supply Drive, that has been really fun to get to fill the teacher stock room up at Mall Street and help them have supplies all year long. Whew. Casino night, business showcase, Taste of Reidsville, Leadership Rockingham is coming back. I'm very excited about this. This is something that is done between the 3 chambers and Rockingham Community College. If you're familiar with leadership programs in other areas, it's very similar. It starts in September. The deadline for filling out the applications is July 13th. Annie Penn usually sends a couple people. Gildan sends a couple people. I think our city manager is going to be trying to participate this year. So it's going to be a really good group this year. But it is from September to May, and you tour Eden, Reidsville, Western, Wentworth, and Rockingham County. And we used to do it healthcare, government, education, but we were kind of traveling all over the place on the same day. And finally, Lee Covington, when he was with ADTS, he said, I'm just a transportation guy, but don't we think we're wasting a lot of time and gas, like traveling around and around? Because our county is pretty large geographically. And so we decided to go back to doing it by area, and so it's been a lot of fun. But we also have a facilitator, and we meet out at RCC, and we have the graduation at St. Francis Prairie Springs. And so it's a really cool event. So if y'all are interested in that, a program, I'd be happy to talk to you more about it. Topics at 12, we're doing that today. We've got several more scheduled for the year. Candidates forums, oh my goodness. Last night we had 18 candidates and the quarter cent sales tax presentation, which was a lot of fun. Small Business Saturday. Are y'all familiar with Small Business Saturday? Do you know what it is? So it's the Saturday after Black Friday, and the whole goal is to get people to shop locally in the small boutiques. Okay. And small business owned, locally owned businesses. Our Reidsville Rewards program. Are y'all familiar with that? Do you know what that is? We launched that at the holidays. We have tried to do it in the spring, but we haven't really found the right time. It's been really successful at the holidays, though. We launched it on Small Business Saturday and run it up through about like a week and a half before Christmas. And that is just an incentive to shop locally. So if you go in chamber member businesses, if you go to Cardines and get your oil changed or buy tires, or if you go to Home Trust and open a checking account, or if you go to Chris Reed and buy a computer or get him to service something, you can get your little box filled off. It's 5 boxes per, and you can fill out as many as you want to, and you turn in your receipts to show that, you had shopped here locally in the time frame. And we have all kinds of prizes. We've done TVs and Kindles and gift cards and all kinds of stuff. So that's our program to get the folks shopping locally. Breakfast with Santa is usually the second Saturday in December. That, again, the proceeds this year went to the Rockingham County Partnership for Children for their Dolly Parton Imagination Library. And so that's what we did for that. And I think we ended up doing, it's like $1,250. So it sponsored something like, I don't know how many kids that is, because I don't remember what the cost of the program is. It's around 25 or 30 bucks. Okay. I was thinking it was 25, but I think it might have gone up by $5. I'm not sure. So that sponsored a ton of kids for that too. This is the image that you have in front of you. Just some quick facts about who we are. At the time, we had 388 members. This was at the end of 2017, beginning of 2018. We had 46 chamber champs and a total of $92,500. And you can just see the ribbon cuttings and the sponsors and use of office space. That's one of my favorite numbers. We have these 2 offices next door, and we have this conference room, and people use them quite a bit. It's free to chamber members anytime. All you have to do is book it and make sure that nobody else is using it. Supporting local restaurants. That is how much money the chamber put back into our local restaurants. So when we have to purchase food for things, that's how much money we put back into the community. The $10,357.89, that's how much money was spent in that 2 weeks that we did the Reidsville Rewards program. That's how much people turned in their cards. So the website hits 149,000. That is not nearly something like Rockingham Update, but it's good for somebody like a chamber who we're getting hits for businesses and referrals. And honestly, I think we have learned a little something from Roy. I think last year we had a little hiccup and we weren't quite always connecting things back to the website. Well, this year we're doing that, so those numbers are already pretty high considering. So that's just a little annual report. Sharon, when people say, what did the chamber do? That's some facts and figures that you can always use. Credibility and community exposure. A lot of this stuff we've talked about, but these things specifically, your business being listed on the chamber's website and then our print business directory. Other things, sponsorship opportunities. Oh my gosh, sponsorship opportunities. Like Denise is back there making sure every time I'm talking about something, I'm mentioning our sponsors because it is a big deal. We want you to get the recognition, but it's just like the business showcase. Powell Barefoot's doing that in honor of their anniversary, and we are so thankful for them. But it's what, it's what enables us to do the event, but they're going to get a heck of a lot of mileage out of that. I mean, they're going to have a 30-foot banner on the street for a month. So there's a lot to be said for our different sponsorship opportunities. Member referrals, that is huge. I mean, people call us all the time, and we try to send a little postcard in the mail. Sometimes if we get busy, we might forget, but people call us and they say, hey, I need a notary. So we say, hey, our local banks, there's this bank or this bank that you can use, and hopefully that gets them in the doors, and if they get great service, it might be something that they could come back to. Or, hey, our members will call and say, hey, I need workers' comp insurance. So we say, hey, you go visit Powell Barefoot, or, so we do a lot of referrals, people looking for, hey, how do I get involved with this? And going back to things, just like we were saying, people want to get involved. If I get a phone call and they say, hey, who do we call about the color run? I'm going to go, well, you call ADP. And so, there's lots of things that we do on that. The chamber newsletter, oh my gosh, if y'all aren't reading your chamber newsletter, you're missing out. We have tried several times to revamp it and make it better. It used to be that it was just PDF after PDF after PDF, and you had to scroll all the way to the bottom to see everything. And I got to the point where I was like, I don't do that, so I don't expect anybody else to. So we tried to shorten that up on the side. So if you've never looked at looked at the way it's laid out, chamber stuff is in the body. So if you're looking for a chamber something, it is in the body. But other events and job postings and all that stuff comes down the side. And that's pretty much, that's the way it's laid out. So, our list is up to over 1,500 people that receive that. And we have a very high click rate, actually, for the industry average. Most people, for chambers, it's around like 18 to 19%. Ours is up in the 20s, 24, 25 for open rate, and the click rate's pretty high, too. Social media. If you are on Facebook or on Twitter, and I'm getting better about Twitter, it's hard to remember to do it because I personally use Facebook more. We get a lot of questions about Facebook. Well, how come so-and-so stuff was shared on Facebook? Well, if you're at all knowledgeable about Facebook, you see some of this stuff come up. The algorithms change all the time, and they're constantly trying to find a way to make money. And they want you to boost stuff. They want you to advertise with them. However, there's all these buttons, right? Like Rockingham Update is one of my favorite sources for news. So I have a view first, and it'll tell me, hey, Rockingham Update shared, they are one of your see first. You can do that for the chamber. You can go to the chamber's page, and you can click on the settings and click see first, so that every time the chamber's doing something, you're going to see it. Secondly, that means I don't always see your stuff. So if I haven't been clicking on it or looking at it or liking it, or it didn't show up in my feed for me to do that, I don't know it's there. And we have that trouble. That's one of the biggest complaints that I get is, well, y'all didn't share my stuff on Facebook. Well, I didn't know it or I couldn't see it. So if you ever want something shared on Facebook, you've got to send one of us a private message and just say, here's the link. Please go share our stuff on Facebook. And if you send the link, it makes it that much easier because then we click on the link and then we can hit share to our page and it's boom, versus like having to try to go find it. We do like every one of our chamber member Facebook pages when they join. That's one of the checklists that we do. So we do try to like it, but with nearly 400 members, it's impossible for us to see everything. The Reidsville Chamber and Visitor Center TV station. I don't know if y'all noticed that when you came in, but I've got it pulled up here, and I have the sound turned down right now. But this is our TV station.
Hopefully identify how many property owners in the city may have violated.
This is pretty cool.
That may be
So
a little more harder to find.
it's showing out here, but anywhere that you have internet access, reidsvillechamber.org/TV. And that's all you have to do. Have it streaming on your computer while you're working, whatever. But it rotates. At the city council, the most current city council meeting, chamber coffee, this will be on there. Anything that we do, live feed, ribbon cuttings, events, topics at 12. They also have the QR code for Reidsville, the walk-in tour that they've done. So all those videos rotate in the middle. The quarter-cent sales tax presentation, the Mall Street UNCG partnership video. Anything that is relevant to what's going on in the city of Reidsville and the chamber and the visitor center is on this. And it's really cool because you can minimize it and listen and hear what's going on, and you don't necessarily have to watch it. And if you hear something, you can click it open, but it's pretty cool. So this is actually at the city council meeting, and they're talking about this was where they passed to allow bow hunting inside the city limits, and so they're going through the whole explanation. So I just think it's cool because a lot of people can't come to certain things, and so now you can listen to that. But we have our own TV station. Thank you to Roy and Rockingham Update helping us figure that out. Benefits. So, and I know it's 1 o'clock, so I'm going to try to be quick about some of this stuff. This is all the stuff that was in the membership packets, but I mean, we have so many things that I'd be happy to talk to you about. But constant contact. If you're an organization that you don't have a mailing list, you don't have a way to email your customers, you do get a discount through us for constant contact. I think it's, it's decent. And if you're a nonprofit, they have a nonprofit rate, and I'm not sure, I haven't compared recently to see if the nonprofit rate's better than your member discount rate, but mailing list, certificate of origin, we get that a lot. I've got one right now going on with one of the industries. When they ship things, they have to be certified by the chamber. We do not offer the free notary services right now, but we have a couple banks that do it for us in exchange for sponsorship, and just because they're good for doing it in the community. The free meeting rooms, you guys have all this stuff on your thing, so I'm not going to go through all of them, but there's a lot of other stuff. The insurance discounts, we're going to have an entire Topics at 12 on that. Like I said, I think it's May 22nd. Training and education, Topics at 12. Chamber University seminars, the Leadership Rockingham program that I talked about. The biggest thing, one-on-one, like I said, schedule a meeting with me, and then the SCORE chapter is going to open here, I want to say by the end of the month, we hope. We're trying to get the volunteer training done. But that's what these two offices out here are for. So if y'all are not familiar with SCORE, SCORE is a national brand through the Small Business Administration, and SCORE is a nonprofit organization, so everybody that is in it is a volunteer. So we are looking for volunteers if that's something that you have some interest in, but also so people who are up and coming in businesses who need help with a business plan, or who need help with technical support, or who need help trying to find opportunities, or trying to find grants, or just need some help, or people who've been in business for a couple of years and maybe they're struggling with a piece, maybe they're not sure, maybe they went down a path and they didn't kind of ask questions, and now they're trying to come back and say, hey, I'm backpedaling. And we find that a lot with businesses, that people get really far down the path of that, and they are struggling because they maybe didn't ask the right questions or didn't think that they needed something, and then they find out that they did. So we're here as a resource and educate on that. We have a partnership with the city of Reidsville where we have the business guide, and they have a checklist, and it's phenomenal for people who are starting. Obviously, most of y'all don't really fit into that, but I tell you that, especially if you're an ambassador or a board member and you're encountering somebody and they say, well, I don't really know how the chamber can help me. Well, that's how the chamber can help them if they're in that situation. Advocacy is huge. Y'all saw that city council meeting? I was there. I'm at every single one of them. And if I'm not, somebody else is. Matter of fact, I will not be there next Tuesday, but Kayla will be. We get the packet ahead of time. I know what's on the agenda. I know what they're doing, what they're talking about. I'm always, kept apprised of what's happening so that if there is an issue or I see something that I think could be an issue for our businesses, I can speak up. But also on the state and federal legislation, we've gone to Raleigh for the last 2 summers to try to lobby for funding for I-785 upgrades. I don't know if y'all understand how big a deal that is, but if y'all know that I-785 opened the loop on this end just recently, and so if we can bring that all the way up 29 and say that 29 is an interstate, it would open up so much opportunity for Rockingham County. And so we've been lobbying for them for DOT to give them the funds so that they can do what they need to do. So we have a really great relationship. We had the Albod expansion, and it's amazing because all the people coming from the different elected officials' offices, they were like, hey Diane, hey Kayla, hey, and it's because they come to this area and they give us the opportunity. They'll reach out, they'll call, they'll email and say, I'll be around, and we take every advantage we can to meet with our elected officials. Recognition, like I talked about, the awards, the membership plaque. Member of the Month is a really cool thing that we do every month where we recognize somebody who's done something special. We're pretty excited about this member spotlights that's coming up. We're going to start highlighting a group of members in every newsletter for the month just so that we can give people more exposure. We talked about Facebook, and I think we talked about all the other stuff. So these are not all, but a huge part of who our partnerships are. The city of Reidsville, the county, the school system, community college, the downtown corporation, the Reidsville Industrial Alliance, the SCORE chapter, and the other county chambers, and Rockingham Update. And I could probably go on, but again, when I say resources, human and partnerships, because I have texting relationships with every single one of these people. And to me, texting is like the most personal form of communication. I know a lot of people do it in business, but if you've reached that level with somebody, and so I can text people in any of these and say, hey, I need this, or hey, this is happening, or hey, what do you think about this? And so that's huge. For you to be able to come in and say, hey, I have this issue, and I can go, oh, well, that person can help me. Let me get in touch with them. And so to me, that's what we bring to the table for you. All right, here's a snapshot of the website. It's the Reidsvillechamber.org, and I just had it up a second ago. I'll show it to y'all again, but that's what it looks like. All right, so this is the part that I wanted to do really quick. This is the Chamber Master, and this is a snapshot of me logged in to Sawyer Landscape and Lawn Care, which my husband would probably be really upset with me to show you that he does not have all his stuff in there, and it's probably because he expected me to do it. But since Chamber Master has changed everything, I have not uploaded it. But so the point is, this side over here, these tabs, we're going to look at these, but I wanted it to be in your handout so you could refer back to it. So these are where you go in to fill in your personal information, your company information. The first 2 things I'm going to tell you, you are not using your chamber membership if those 2 tabs don't have your name, your phone number, your company name, and all that stuff listed. So I want you to check that out when you figure out what your login is and how to log in, and I will be happy to go through how that happens too. The next thing is this is reports, and I have it highlighted, and when you click reports in this top tab, this shows you how many people have viewed, and this is Chris Reed's actually, because he's one that I know has gone in and played with some of his stuff and put the logo in there. See how it shows his logo is up there? That's because he went in and uploaded it. So the summary, the banner ad impressions, the hot deal. So if you start putting, he hasn't put any job postings in there, but if you see he had a hot deal in there, it's had 5 views already. And so those things show you like how many times people are clicking on your stuff. And like I said, we have probably not done a 100% successful job with those types of things because Denise goes over everything in the beginning, and then it's overwhelming, and you're not really sure, and then we don't really revisit it. So I think it's hard. But this shows you how those things. It's kind of a report on how that stuff's happening. So I want to go to that really quick, and so what you would do on the website, member login, and then you would need your username and your password. And so if you do not have that, and then you would hit submit. So I'm going to go over here and then log in. I am logged in as Chris Reed. So this is what it would come to. This would be the home screen when you log in. So if you do not have, and Trina, I can go over some of the stuff with you tomorrow too. If you do not have that, if you will please write down on a piece of paper. If y'all need a new login, I will be happy to send you the link. Because what happens is I have to go in and say, send Tracy a link, and it will send you an email, and then you'll get, and make sure I have your email. So if everybody will write down their name and email and pass that around, just as a registration part, and then if you need a new login, put that on there, and I will send it to you. So this is what the home would look like, and this tells you, hey, this is your direct connection to the chamber. If you visited this, you need to enhance your homepage with pictures and text. You can post hot deals, job openings, events, and keywords. Those 4 things are the things that I want to talk about. So those 4 things. So for example, Annie Penn. If they're wanting people to find them, they need to put whatever keyword. So if they're looking for healthcare, if they're looking for, say it's radiology or x-ray or oncology or whatever your keywords are that you want people to find you, insurance, benefits, workers' comp, whatever the keywords may be. See, like for Belk, it would be, sales, it would be clothing, it would be shopping, whatever your keywords would be. With basic chamber membership, you get, 20 keywords, I think? And that might be, and then with chamber champs, if you're a chamber champ and you have an enhanced listing, you get several more. So it's your stuff will get turned on. We're actually doing that this week. If you're not already at the level you were, we're toggling on those benefits if you moved up or bumped. But most of you should be at the level you're at. So personal information, and as you'll see, Chris has got his stuff in there. He's the owner. His name's Chris Reed. It's got his work phone number and all his information is in there. And then you just go through here. You put the photo in there. He put his logo in there. But you can put, whatever. It doesn't have to be your logo there. You can link your accounts. So you can link, say, like the Reidsville Chamber. If I was logged in as the Reidsville Chamber, I would link the Reidsville Chamber Facebook to it, or the Reidsville Chamber Twitter. And all you have to do is log in, and then it's linked. We actually, when you log in, there's actually a news feed that's very much like a Facebook or a Twitter. There's actually a chamber member feed, and you can see each other. Like, hey, Chris Reed with Reed's Computers posted a hot deal. And you're like, oh, what's Reed got going on? You click on his hot deal, and it's 20% off benefit for membership. This stuff is not really active right now, and it's mostly because only people who are kind of techie who have played with their stuff. And it is because I have found, in talking to Denise, the more we've talked about it, it's overwhelming to people. And some people, if they're that type of person, maybe type A, they go straight back to their computer and they do it right then. But most of the time, if people don't do it, it doesn't ever get done because then they don't remember. So this is the part that to me is really important. This is what some of you may have come for. So and I'll be honest, if you need help with it, you're one of 2 things. You're going to be able to go in and figure it out yourself, and you're going to go, oh, this is it, this is it, this is it, this is it. Like, y'all are looking at me going, I mean, you're just going to log in, and you're just going to do what you want to do and fix it. Just know, though, that those 4 things that I mentioned, the keywords, the events, the hot deals, and the jobs are all really important. So if y'all have the color on, as soon as you know that the date and the time and all the information, that needs to be uploaded in there. Because we get bombarded and overloaded with flyers and emails and hey my event, and we're happy to do it, but I'll be honest, it takes us an entire day to get the email newsletter ready every week, once a week. And if we already had stuff in there, it would be a lot easier for us. And I know y'all need to go, so I'm just going to say these last couple things. I'm happy to sit down, and anybody who wants to stay, but again, mention your login. But this is where you go to do everything, and it's very important. The other things that we do, if you do not know, we do mailing labels. So if you're trying to mail something out to a bunch of people, you can get that through us, all the chamber members. This is what I'm talking about, engagement. Engage with the staff, engage with the board members, engage with the ambassadors, engage in the opportunities and the events. We have a schedule of events. I should have printed that, but I'll be happy to print it or email it to everybody that came today because you're registered. So, does anybody have any questions? And then I can go back, for those that can stay, I can go back to the chamber master and do more in-depth training. But does anybody have any questions, anything like a burn-in, something you wanted to know that I didn't answer today? For somebody who doesn't know a lot about it, was it good? Do you
Yes,
think you
it
got a
was.
lot of information? Good. And like I said, I'm happy to email y'all because you're all registered in the event. It would be really easy for me to go click an email, or if you didn't get your, if you don't know your